I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. All right. So we are doing our grade 4 English lesson on shades of meaning. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English Language Arts grade 4. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of shades of meaning. All right, so shades of meanings, right? We're going to find out what shades of meanings are, but if we even look at the word, then shades of meaning is to do with words with different meanings, right? Or something to do with meanings, or so we're going to find out what shades of meaning are. And our chapter is Shades of Meaning. The subject is English Language Arts Grade 4. And the lesson that we are going to be focusing on is describe the difference between related words. So we're going to describe the difference between the related words and positive and negative connotation. So that is going to be our lessons for today. All right. So when it comes to shades of meaning, right, then it means that we can have different words, but then it's like the meanings of those words are different, or let's say similar, sorry. It can either be different or it can be similar, right? Or there's just slight differences or slight similarities between those words. All right, so we can say that some words are alike, it's almost the same, but they have small differences in meaning. So, as much as words are alike or they're almost the same, right, but the differences in meaning can slightly change. And like we said, that is why we say we have that there's small differences within the meaning. And those differences within these meanings, we call them shades of meaning. All right. So if we look at an example of shades of meaning, right? So it's words that are alike, but they have similar differences or small differences in meaning, right? There is just something different, or the meanings are different, right? And we call those shades of meanings. And examples of, let's say, maybe shades of meanings can be, you need to think about the word stay, peak, and glade. So you're going to continue to think of these words, which is stay, peak, and glade. I think I'm going to circle it to you. All right. So now, if we are going to look at the word, we're going to look at the word and then we're going to look at the definition of the word. And we're going to see either how similar they are or how different they are. So if we look at our word, right, our word is stay. And remember we said they need to keep in mind stay, peak, and glare, right? So our first word stay. And our first word stay, right? And it is to look at something for a while. So we said that we look at stay, right? And stay is to look at something, and that is for a while. So it's like you are just staring at that person. It's by looking at the person without saying nothing, doing nothing, right? And you look at that person for a while, and we call that staring, right? All right. So that is stay, right? So we said stay is to look at something for a while. And like I say, it is like where you are looking at something without saying anything, right? You are just like staring at that thing or staring at the person, right? And then we have to peek. We have peek. And when we look at the word peek, peek is to look at something quickly. So it's to look at something, but look at it quickly. That is like to peek. And then we will have glare. And glare is to look at something in a angry way. So which means that if we basically think about the words stare, peek, and glare, right? They all mean and they look at something. So they're all meaning to look at something, whether they're staring at something, quickly looking at something, or if they are just like staring at the specific item for a while. All right. So we say that when it comes to staring, peeking, and glaring, right, it all means that you look at something, but you look at something in a different way. Because with all of the definitions, right, that says with stare, peek, and glare, all right. All right. So when we if you look specifically at these words, right, stay, peak, and glare, right, we see that some of our words are alike, but they have smaller differences in the meaning, or we can say there's similarities or small similarities, right? But the differences within these words or sentences, right, it is they call those differences shades of meaning, right? And we specifically looked at stay, peek, and glare, right? So stay is to look at something for a while. Then we have peek is to look at something quickly. And then we have glare, right? And that is to look at something in an angry way. And all three of these, it's like they're looking at something but in a different way. All right. So if we look at more words, right, when it comes to shades of meaning. All right. So now, before we even continue, let us go to aplusstudents.ca. There, we are going to learn more about shades of meanings, and we're also going to look at more examples of shades of meanings. All right, so we are going to aplusstudents.ca. We're going to describe the differences between the related words, right? Related words are words that they are related to, right? And we said some of our words are alike, but there's similar differences within the meaning. And these are called, or these differences we called shades of meanings, right? And then we specifically looked at stare, we looked at peak and glare, right? And we said stare, peek, and glare. It all means to look at something, but you're going to look at something in a different way, right? So to stare is like to look at something for a while. All right. So these words, right? If you look at certain words, there are many different words that have similar meanings or similar let's say words that are the same and the meanings either differ or the meanings are the same, right? If you look at the here it says which is sneaky. And sneaky, if you want to be sneaky, right, then it means that it's either you're creeping around, you're fooling around, right? But those that is when you are being sneaky. And something that is better, we would say, is delightful. All right, so if we look at, yeah, it says a meal is food you eat for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, right? A snack is little food that you eat between meals. So a meal is larger. So the other question was, which one is larger, a snack or a meal, right? And like the description says, right, a meal is larger because of the portions that you also eat. Snacking is like me eating a chocolate now, it's eating peanuts here, it's like having chips, right? Having a fruit, right? It's just like nibbling, right, on something. But having a sit down meal, right, it means that it is a combination of starches and proteins, right? Which means that it is quite heavier. So that is more larger compared to snacks, right? Because snacks is things that we are just like snacking on. Yes, so a meal is something that is much more larger than a snack, right? All right. So we see that when it comes to shades of meaning, right? Shades of meaning, we can also say it's almost like an idiom, right? Shades of meanings, not even necessarily an idiom because idioms are words that have like different sayings, but then it means something different, right? But shades of meanings, it's a phrase that is used to either describe something small, it can describe something subtle, it describes some like maybe like slight differences, it can describe slight similarities, right? That is between words or that is between phrases, right? Like for example, if you look at the word kid, right? Another word for kid would be youth, or we would say another name for youth would then be I just know the word. It's like saying it's a child now, right? But basically, kid or youth, right? Both of these words, it refers to either somebody being very young, it refers to young people, but they are carrying different views, or they have different ideas also about young people. So that is shades of meaning. It's like where we have two or three or more different words, right? And then it means that they are either carrying the same views, they are the ideas of the word is something the same, but yet there are a lot of differences, or it is different, but there's a lot of similarities, right? All right, so now we're going to our test where we are going to describe the difference between our related words that we have. And even if you look at the word related, right? Related is, if they were to say, oh, are you related to somebody else? Then it means that it's almost like you are acquainted to the person, you look the same as the person, you guys are doing the same things of the person, right? So that it means when a question is being asked about the related. All right. So we are going to our test where we are going to describe the differences between related words. So we need to say which word is bigger. And remember we said with the related words, it's either words that we can say that are either there's maybe small differences, right? We can describe it in size with whether it's something small, which is smaller, which is bigger. And also, we can think of the subtle differences in meaning between these words or these phrases. So, which one is bigger? Is it a hill that is bigger or a mountain? All right, so which is bigger? Is it a hill that is bigger or a mountain? Which word is bigger? Is it hill that is bigger or mountain that is bigger? A hill or a mountain? All right, so if we were to choose which one is bigger, then we will go to the mountain or option two because a mountain is bigger than a hill. So well done. So which one is bigger? Is it something pleasant that is bigger or something delightful that is bigger or better? Sorry. So is it some if we say some oh that is something that is pleasant, or if we say something is delightful, right? We need to say which one is bigger. something pleasant, or something delightful. All right. So some of you see, when it comes to related words, right? With related words, some would have one specific meaning, the others would have a different meaning, right? Which is good. But now in this case, it says which is better. And of course, if something were to be better, then it would be like, oh, something that is delightful, right? We would say that is big, something that is better, something that is delightful. Which word shows anger? Is it glare or is it glance? Glare or glance? So we need to say anger, which shows anger, to glare at something or to stare at something, to glance at something. All right, and if we were to choose the correct word, right, that shows that it shows more, it shows anger, right? And yes, we will go with option one because glare means that you are staring at something in an angry or in a fierce way, right? So well done. Which is often worn by a team? Which do you think is often worn by a team? A team. Is it a uniform wears a team or a costume? Uniforms wear costumes. So we now need to say which is often worn by a team. Like if you think of a team, like a soccer team, a rugby team, a netball team, do they have a uniform or do we say they wear a costume? So do they wear a uniform, option one, or do we say they wear a costume, option two? All right. And if we were to somebody that wears or some group that wears um that is worn by a team, we would say it's a uniform, right? Because a team wears uniform, right? Unless we are dressing up for a kiddie's party or party and now we wear a costume. Which is larger? Is it a meal that is larger or a snack that is larger? So, which one is larger? Is it a meal that we must eat or like just random snacking? All right, and if we were to say which one is bigger or larger, and then we would say it is a meal, right? Because a meal is more filling, right? Whereas a snack, it's like you're eating here now, there now. It's more like your fruits and your lighter things, right? But a meal, because like I said, it has your starches, your proteins, and literally all those balanced meals stuff that they have within your meal. All right. Yeah, so a meal is bigger, which is not as nice. Something that is not as nice. Is it stealing something or borrowing something? What is not nice? Is it stealing something or borrowing something? Something that is not nice. All right, and something that is not nice, we can say stealing something. Because remember, you stealing is bad. So stealing is definitely not nice, right? When it comes to borrowing, right, it is not nice when you don't borrow it back. But borrowing is fine. But stealing something is not nice. So well done. All right, last one. It says, which shows complaining? When you are complaining all the time. Is it when you're whining all the time or talking all the time? Something that shows complaints. When you're complaining. So something that shows complaints. It shows complaining all the time. Is it when you're whining all the time? Or just when you are constantly having a conversation, you're talking. All right, and we said something that shows complaining is when you are whining all the time, right? It's like you're whining. It's like you're it's like you're repeating words all the time. Okay, so now we're going to positive as well as negative connotations. So when it comes to connotations, right, we said we are doing now negative connotation and positive connotation. So when it comes to connotations, right, we get, and when it comes, we have connotations, we have a negative connotation and we have a positive connotation. So connotations, right, it is the feeling or idea, and it goes along with the word or a phrase. So it's the feeling or it's an idea that goes with the word or it goes with the phrase. And some words are close in meaning while others have different connotations. And for example, it says, think about the words eager and impatient. They both mean wanting something to happen, but they have different connotations. Like either, eager, like you're eager to do something, has a positive connotation. It is a nice word, and an eager person is happy and excited. Then we have impatient, which also has a negative connotation. And it is not a nice word. An impatient person, it is often pushy and demanding, and an impatient person just wants things to be done now on their time, right? So which means that if we were to look at the positives or negative connotations, and if it's a positive connotation, we would choose eager. All right, so we say that connotations is the feelings of ideas that goes along with a word or a phrase. We have positive connotations and we have negative connotations. Positive connotations are kind words, right? Whereas negative connotations are you're impatient. It is things that is not so nice. All right, so now we're going on to the next one where we need to say which phrase has a negative connotation, but let's rather go to our test. So, which phrase is more negative to negative connotation? If talk about something, if you talk about something, or option two, boast about something. So, talk about something or boast about something. All right, and if we were to select or identify our negative connotation, then we would say when you're boasting about something. Because if I'm just talking about something and I'm telling you, yeah, this happened to me, and talking about good things, right? So whether it comes across as I'm talking about myself all the time, but it won't be seen as a negative connotation. It will only be seen as a negative connotation once I am boasting about what I have, my success, and so on. Right? So boasting about something is a negative connotation. We need to once again say what's a negative connotation. It says scowl at work, or scold at work, or frown at work. All right. And if we look at the negative connotation, is it either to scold at someone or to frown at someone? And if we would say the negative connotation would be to scold at someone, right? Scolding at someone is like when you are angry, you are shouting, right? Sometimes with scolding at somebody is like you make somebody feel bad, right? So scold. Which phrase has a more negative connotation? Is it a reason or an excuse? A reason or an excuse? And if we were to look at what negative is between a reason and an excuse, then we would say an excuse is something negative. Because if I were to tell you, like, okay, this is the reason why I won't be able to go to the mall with you, you would understand because it is sincere, right? It is sincere, like, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. This is actually why, my parents don't want me to go to the mall or whatever with you. But if I constantly come up with excuses, I did not because didn't do my homework because of whatever reason. Then next time the same thing. There's just constantly excuses. So which means that the phrase that has a negative connotation, we can say it is excuse. Yes. So which phrase is a negative connotation? This is the last one. Is it a savage animal or a wild animal? This is the last one. A savage animal or a wild animal? All right. And if we were to choose, which word is a negative connotation Ah, it's actually a savage animal that has a negative connotation. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on shades of meaning. We see that there's different words that have the same meaning, right? But we need to know whether it is, it is positive connotation or negative connotation based on the meanings that are either similar or different. But this is the end of our lesson on shades of meaning. Thank you very much, grade 4, for joining the class. Until next time, have a good evening further. Goodbye.